Hi Cancer, welcome to your November 2019 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in a personal reading, just check out the description of the video. I have all the information for that there. Alright, so with that out of the way, we have a Celtic cross spread in front of us as always, and you guys got one extra card that came up there. And then we also have a couple of oracle cards we'll take a look at after that to help tie everything together, and also a mudra card. So let's get started with the main spread. In the position of the main situation, we have the Page of Swords. So this is a card about communication. Usually to me it's when someone's a little hesitant to communicate as well. What I always say with the page energies is they have a bit of that one foot in, one foot out energy. If we look at the person's stance, and then also if we look at the way he's holding the sword, doesn't necessarily look all that comfortable with it, right? It's like something that's new to them. So you might be feeling a bit out of your element in some way, shape, or form. And just in general, this could just be representing the need to communicate something, but just being a little bit shaky about doing so. And we are going to have Mercury in retrograde in November as well. At the time I'm recording this, it pretty much just entered shadow, so you might already be feeling the effects of that. If you guys watch this when I first post it, but that's the main vibe that I'm getting there. And then usually I also point out the fact that the trees in the background here almost remind me of the Facebook F, so this can be communication you're thinking of making through social media as well for some of you. But what does stand out to me is the fact that if we look at what they're looking at, if we put him back in the spread, he's looking towards the Six of Pentacles energy in the past. So if we look at that, and then we also look at what you have in the challenge or obstacle position, which is the Ten of Wands, this can be you communicating about maybe a situation that was imbalanced in the past, and now you feel that it's imbalanced now. So now you might be communicating to someone, hey, at one point, I felt like this was a balanced, fair connection, whether it be a romantic relationship, friendship, maybe even family, right? Could be anything, a workplace thing. And now you might feel like it's imbalanced to where you're putting in a lot more work. So that could be what the communication might be about. That's just something I'm drawn to by the fact that, like I said, he's looking right towards that in the past. And to see this in the challenge position, this is almost the opposite of a balanced energy. To me, this looks like someone that's taken on a whole lot, right? And carrying a burden. So, that's what I'm picking up on there. So for me, this is something that you need to speak about, probably something you've been holding on to for a long time as well. And like I said, this could be in a bunch of different areas of life. For some of you, this could even be a family thing too, because let's say in the States, for example, we'll be having Thanksgiving in November. So given that this could just be something around that, where maybe you're getting around family again and there's something that you've wanted to communicate to them for a long time, and maybe this month you might feel a little bit more of an urge to actually do so. In the foundation position, we have the Chariot card. So this is actually your major arcana card. So to have this show up in the foundation position, that's a real strong position to have it in. So this could just point to a few different things, which is one, this could just be saying that you're the focus this month, right? So again, like I said, if you feel like you're putting in a lot more work in a situation, whether, like I said, friendship, romantic relationship, family, workplace, this could just be you pointing to the fact that you guys should feel comfortable being the focus this month. And, if you do feel the need to ask for some kind of help and ask people to put in a bit more effort on their end, you should receive some positive feedback in that regard, given that you're showing up in the foundation. And then we do also have the fact that you guys are the natural rulers of the fourth house, and in your fourth house, we have Mars in there currently. So that could be lighting a fire under some of you too, like I said, where maybe this is something you might have held on to for a long time. Now you might actually feel the urge to speak about it. But like I said, just do be mindful too that you will have Mercury in retrograde pretty much through the first few weeks of November. So something to keep in mind there, that, even if you might be communicating with the best of intentions, sometimes they might not be perceived that way. So definitely rely on your intuition there as far as, feel people out. Say what you need to say and then try to see, all right, did they actually pick up on that the way that you intended for them to pick it up, or did they maybe take it the wrong way? So that could be a good thing to point to there too, given that this is your card in the foundation, saying trust your intuition around those things as well. All right, like I was saying, in the past position, we have the Six of Pentacles. So this is actually a Taurus energy. So for some of you, this could even be something that you've been holding on to since that time. So let's say around the middle of April, maybe. Maybe some kind of event happened there, or maybe this is when you felt the connection was at its strongest, right? Where there was an actual balance in the situation. And given that this is Taurus as well, this can also be pointing to maybe Leo, since Taurus is the natural ruler of the second house. And for you guys, your second house is Leo, so maybe even around the time of Leo for some of you, this could be pointing to that. Taurus is also your house of friendships too, so maybe this is a friendship that you might have felt has come out of balance lately, where maybe you felt like you guys really were connected on a close level, and maybe that friendship is starting to fray a little bit for whatever reason. Plenty of reasons for that. Maybe because you've been so busy with other areas of life. Maybe that's, what helped that connection kind of fall to the wayside a bit, right? Where maybe, okay, you've had to put in so much work into your career, maybe you haven't been able to connect with friends as much lately. That's one potential way that could play out. Trying to think if anything else comes to mind with this, but no, that's pretty much it there. And obviously, that can be saying that you're dealing with a Taurus, possibly a Leo as well. All right, in the present position, we have the Seven of Cups. So this represents usually having a lot of options on your plate and usually not knowing exactly which one to pursue. What I always point out to people when I get this card is that, from our perspective, we could see each of these cups quite clearly and what's in them, right? But this person there is quite literally in the dark. So they might not see these things as clearly as we do. So they might not know what they're going to be going for. So that could be what's at play there. There could be some confusion around a bunch of options you might have. For some of you, since this is a Sagittarius card and Sagittarius is your sixth house, this could be you potentially viewing other career options too. Like let's say you're really looking at that, especially because you guys did have a full moon in your 10th house of Aries. So that could be where, you might have felt like you're at the end of the road regarding a career, right? Maybe that's what this is pointing to as well, saying that you're looking at the pay you're receiving compared to the work you're doing, and maybe in the past you felt like what you're being paid was fine for the work that you've done, but maybe you felt like the responsibilities have continued to be piled on, but you haven't really seen any benefit as far as an increase in your pay. So that could be one example of how these energies could be playing out. But this could also just represent you just being in a general fog as well. This is actually a Scorpio card too. It represents the last 10 degrees of Scorpio. And, so that could point to, well, I mean, for one, it could point to the sun. But yes, that's not going to happen until, let's say, the middle of November. So that's a little less likely since this is present position. So this can just be talking about as those transits pass through there too. Maybe Mercury going through these degrees, possibly Venus. But yeah, definitely could just represent some general confusion going on right now as far as what option to take. And I see another indicator around some potential confusion regarding choices as well in your position. But we'll get to that in a bit. In the near future position, we have the Judgment card and the Six of Cups. So a few different ways that this could play out. This is actually another Scorpio energy here as well. This is the middle 10 degrees of Scorpio. And to me, the Judgment is also a Scorpio card, because if you hear about 8th house, which is the house that Scorpio naturally rules, we often refer to it as the house of death and rebirth. Their primary major arcana card is death, and to me, this represents the rebirth energy. So This can definitely represent, especially with Mercury retrograde, I have to throw it out there, this could definitely represent a connection coming back around from the past that you might have thought was dead and gone. So it can come as a surprise to some of you when this option does come back. And with the Six of Cups, definitely can represent romance for, especially for you guys, because for you, Scorpio is your fifth house, and that does tend to point to romance. So this could definitely represent, maybe that's what this is about. Maybe this is someone you were with in the past, and maybe you're looking back on how the connection was a really good, solid connection, right? And maybe at some point it started to feel like a burden. So maybe you guys might have even broken up for that reason, right? You might have felt like, okay, well, at one point I felt like things were very balanced and fair. Maybe for whatever reason you start to feel like you were putting in the majority of the work, and maybe even split up for that reason. And maybe the issue was you never, while you were with them, maybe you never communicated that to them, that, hey, I feel like I'm putting in a lot more work here, right? So maybe you just broke up with them without communicating that. And maybe for whatever reason, it comes back around to where you guys do get that opportunity to actually speak about, what was causing the issues with the connection, and maybe reconnect in that regard. So, and another thing I do like about seeing these two cards together too is to see you at that Seven of Cups energy in the present, which could be a little bit foggy, obviously, like I said. This could just represent some kind of clarity coming to you as well, as far as, the move from that Seven of Cups energy to the Six of Cups, which looks a lot more clear there. So that's another way that could play out too. And I would say definitely look out for the time of the full moon in Taurus, which is going to be right around the middle of November. Because, like I said, with this representing the middle 10 degrees of Scorpio, that's actually going to be where the sun will be when we have that full moon in Taurus. So that could be when some situation comes back around. Now, Thanksgiving's a little late this year, but it could even be that. Like maybe you go back home, right, to visit your family for Thanksgiving, and maybe someone that you hadn't spoken to in a while. Like I said, for some of you, definitely does lean to romance for some of you, but it can also be a friendship or maybe even a family member you had a falling out with a while ago, and maybe with the holidays coming back around, you guys might go visit them, and you guys might be able to hash things out and get things back on a more stable, friendly vibe in that regard. So definitely positive energy in the near future regardless. In the position of your energy towards this situation, we have the Two of Swords. So this represents usually being undecided about something. This is a Libra card, represents the first 10 degrees of Libra. So maybe this is even something that was offered to you back around that time. But what seems more likely to me though is this is just representing your energy here as far as looking at things from two different angles, especially because we have the Hanged Man at the bottom of the deck, which often represents looking at things from a different angle, trying to see things from a higher perspective. And also, that also has indecision energy around it as well. So, to me, what always stands out with this, though, is if we look at the background, there's the water there, which often represents emotions. We also see the moon, another indicator of emotions. To me, that represents this person turning their back on their emotions, right? And trying to make a decision strictly based on logic. They have their heart covered up. They have a blindfold on. It's like they're strictly trying to make a decision based on their head, not their heart. So that could be where you're at. Like I said, maybe you're just looking back on how things were in balance in the past, and now they're imbalanced, right? So you're trying to figure out, okay, well, how do I want to address this? Do I want to let this person come back, right? Would it be best for us to start over again? Maybe it wouldn't be, right? But another way this could be playing out too, now that I'm looking at it, with the 2-6 energies, maybe this is you feeling like, okay, well, when someone needed you to help them out, right? Like I said, maybe it was a friend, given that Taurus represents your 11th house. You felt like you were there for them and you came to meet them at their level, right? With the pentacles there. Now, this could be saying that this could be them understanding that, okay, well, you're saying you need help and you need someone to relate to you on your level of the cups, right? Which is more of an emotional level. And this could be them actually extending that to you. In the position of the environment, we have the Ace of Pentacles. So, to me, what I always say with the Ace energy is that it's an idea. If I look at the hand coming out of the cloud, to me, that represents it's something in the idea stage. It's not necessarily playing out, but it is on someone's mind. And also, if you look at the gray background, to me, that represents the neutrality, right? It's like it's a take it or leave it thing. It's like, okay, this is an opportunity that's on the table, but you actually have to put in some effort to make it grow. So, this could represent maybe someone wants to come toward you and make an offer of stability. But again, I think it's more in the idea stage right now, not necessarily playing out tangibly. Or this could just represent opportunities on the table for you. Like I said, for some of you, this could even be around career. Maybe with that full moon that we had recently in your 10th house, maybe that really is what made you reevaluate career, for example. And now maybe you're looking at a bunch of different potential routes you could go with your career, and maybe that's what you're trying to size up. And this could just be saying that there could be some offers on the table, but maybe you're trying to figure out which one would be best for you. And maybe it's even that you get it narrowed down to just a couple of decisions, but you're still like, okay, well, I'm not sure which way to go. I would say again, like I said, don't forget you will have Mercury in retrograde, so you do want to be a bit mindful of that. And there's going to be a lot of energy in your 5th house, so that's definitely supportive energy as far as getting yourself out in the spotlight if you want to. As far as putting your resume out there, you might get a lot of callbacks because of all that energy moving to your 5th house. And then as things start to move through your 6th, which would be Sagittarius, you might start to see some more supportive energies for employment if it is something that you're looking toward. All right, and then in the hopes or fears position, we have the Ace of Cups. So I'm going to assume this is a hope, and what stands out to me with this, seeing the Ace of Pentacles right beneath it, and then seeing the Six of Pentacles in the past, and then the Six of Cups in the future, another way this could be playing out too is for some of you, this could be someone that you're friends with, but you want to take things to the next level with them. So, that's what I feel could be at play for at least some of you. Because, like I said, that is 11th house energy for you. And maybe this is someone that you've had feelings for them for a long time with that 10 of Wands energy. And you've just been reluctant to communicate that, right? And it looks like it's saying that if you do communicate that, you might actually get a positive response as far as, like I said, going from that Six of Pentacles to the Six of Cups energy. But that could be what's at play there. This could definitely be what's going on. It could be you, or maybe even a friend feels that way about you and they're thinking about making that offer. It could play out either way since those are just the general energies. And then we do see Ace energy here, which might represent them being the ones wanting to make the offer and you being undecided about accepting it. So that's certainly what could be going on there. But, it could just be, like I said, especially with the Ace of Cups there, it could be that you're hoping for someone to, take things to a more emotional level with you. You might feel like they're very proper and, very by the book with the way they approach you with that pentacle energy, but you want them to throw a little bit more emotion, maybe more passion into it, right? So that could be what's going on there. All right, in the outcome position, we have the Hierophant. So this is actually a major arcana card for Taurus. So for some of you, you could definitely be dealing with a Taurus. We've seen quite a bit of Taurus and quite a bit of Scorpio energy in this reading. So definitely some significance too with the full moon and new moon energy that we'll be seeing as we move through Scorpio season. But this could also represent commitment as well. So, like I said, maybe this is someone you reconnect with from your past, right? Maybe you guys had a good thing going on in the past, even if it wasn't romantic. Maybe you just felt like that was someone who always had your back, for example. You always got along well. Maybe for whatever reason, you guys, the connection started to whittle for whatever reason, and now it's actually picking up steam again. And like I said, for some of you, it could be as simple as you go back home, right? Because the Chariot can represent travel too. Maybe you go back home for the holidays, and then you reconnect with the person, and you guys might hit it off well. Hierophant can also represent big organizations as well, though, because, so like I said, for those of you, if this is more of an employment thing, where maybe you are thinking about moving to another company. This can represent that actually you will be picked up sometime towards, most likely towards the end of November. Because, like I said, that's when we'll start to see more energy move into your sixth house. So, can see some improvement there, where, maybe you might get some formal offers. Like I said, especially with the ace there, if this is around employment, this could be them thinking about making the offer to you, but maybe it's not just manifesting just yet. Or another way that could play out too could be to say that, let's say they say to you, well, all right, we'll offer you the job, but it doesn't start until, let's say, the middle of December, right? So, okay, you know that, all right, eventually this is going to be money you can count on, right, if you accept the job offer, but it just won't be available to you in November. It would be sometime in December before you get that first paycheck, or maybe even January, right, depending on when in November the offer is made. So, either way, whether this is around relationships of a romantic kind or possibly business, is definitely a good card to see there. All right, moving on to your oracle cards next. First, we have Message in a Bottle. There's the artwork for it, and the number is 15. Okay, it says communication, a sign, a Claydon, and then parentheses it says the ancient name for a spontaneous oracle delivered innocently by the speaker, pointing the way to your highest good. The oracle's message. Spirit sends you signs when you ask for them, when you believe you will receive them, and when you allow yourself to become fluent in the language of symbols, oracles, and omens. They may come to you as a bird flying by, a logo on a truck, and a song on the radio. Expect confirmation that you're pointed in the right direction. Keep your ears open, for someone might say just the right thing that will give you the answer to your query. Today your message is this: Spirit hears you, and the reply is favorable. So, pretty good message there. And like I said, when we were talking about the Chariot card earlier too, like I was saying, definitely try to rely on your intuition a little bit more than normal, especially if you are communicating something, since there is that retrograde energy, or if someone's communicating with you, just to, give it that little bit of intuition to see, okay, well, did they pick up on what I was actually saying, or is there potential confusion there, or vice versa? Am I actually understanding this person right, or maybe did I pick up on something wrong? So, something to keep in mind there. The relationship message says you can expect someone to favor you with positive news. This could be in the form of a letter, phone call, or email. You are the intended receiver of this message, so stay open to what you learn. Only good will come of it in the end. The signs are all there. So yeah, like I said, probably for more of you than not, this would actually represent someone maybe making an offer to you. And like I said, maybe that's what the Two of Swords here is saying, that, maybe you're on the fence about accepting it or not. And, with the Ace energy here, this could just be representing that they've been thinking about making that offer. So this could be, for some of you, the Page of Swords energy could represent them. Maybe they've been the ones holding on to these feelings for a while and not communicating. And of course, could be mutual too. So, or maybe after you do communicate to them, hey, I feel things are imbalanced, right? Then maybe that's where they actually come toward you and say, okay, well, I will try to put in more work, right? Put in more effort, now that they understand that, you're feeling that way. All right, the prosperity message says you are on target with your purpose and your passion. You are coming into alignment with your destiny, and Spirit wants you to know that you're on the right track. Expect a call, a new opportunity, or a message from an old friend or business contact that will lead you closer to your dreams and greatest desires. Spirit has been listening to you. So it's interesting there too, because like I was saying, this can represent some kind of business opportunity, and with the Judgment in the near future, obviously that can represent some kind of a call, right? We see that horn blowing, and then the Six of Cups. Maybe it's even someone that you might have worked with in the past, and maybe you've been reluctant to ask them, hey, do you have any openings, right? And maybe they end up contacting you and asking if you want to come back around and work for them. So maybe that's another way it could play out. All right. Next we have Dove Spirit. It says be peace. All right. There's the artwork for it, and the number is 21. Let's see what this has to say. Okay, it says, with her peaceful cooing, the gentle dove spirit invites you to embrace the energy of peace and allow compassion to warm your heart. You always have the power to generate peace within you, and the appearance of dove spirit is a reminder that today and every day is a good day to meditate, to quiet any turbulence within you as you embody tranquility. Above, below, and all around you, much may be happening to distract you, but you are called to engage it with the heart of a peacemaker, asking yourself, what would peace do? Can you agree to disagree? The peace you seek rises within and spreads out into the world. As Spirit sends her messenger to remind you of the beauty of a harmonious existence with all that is. How beautiful and powerful is your compassionate heart? So, that made me think of the Seven of Cups energy, as far as it was saying there could be a lot going on around you. And like I said, even though this is the present energy, this could even just be pointing to when we get a little bit closer to the holidays, too, right? Maybe everyone's trying to do too much at once. There's a lot of cross signals, like I said, with the retrograde energy. So, something to keep in mind there. Hopefully, you guys got something from that. All right, and the last thing we have is a mudra card, and the mudra you guys got this month is the Yamapasha mudra. There it is there. And I'll turn the card over so you could see some information on it. Okay, under benefits it says opens the airways, strengthens the lungs and large intestines, stimulates the immune system, evokes the spiritual insight of the interdependent nature of all phenomena. So, if that sounds like something you think would be interesting to you, I will put the name of the mudra in the description as well, so you can look into it a little bit more. We'll wrap up there, guys, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.